Hi, I'm Nisheep Patel from Northampton Accounting, and in this week's video I wanted to talk about how you can recover VAT on motor vehicle expenses in your business. So there's always a guy down the pub saying if you buy a vehicle for your business, if it's a van or if it's a car, you can actually put the VAT you spent and paid out for that vehicle through your VAT return and then get a rebate from the government. And they're not wrong, but sometimes people forget to factor in how difficult it can be to prove that a vehicle is purely being used for the business. So there's some instances where it's pretty straightforward, like if you run a driving school, if you run a car hire company, or if you're buying a van, then it can be pretty straightforward to explain to HMRC, well, this is purely a business vehicle. And I'm going to reclaim the VAT on it. But instances where you're buying a car and you want to reclaim VAT, it's almost impossible to prove to HMRC that it's business only. And in my experience, the only real explanation HMRC will accept is if you manage to get business only insurance for that vehicle. So often they base it on the type of insurance you've got. But aside for the VAT you can reclaim on things like a van, which you may have, what you can actually do is you can reclaim VAT on things like leases if you're leasing a vehicle. So if you lease a vehicle, you can actually reclaim half the VAT that you're paying for it. So that works for cars as well. And there's a lot of other expenses relating to a vehicle that you can recover the VAT on. So some common ones are if you go to a mechanic and you need your car repaired or serviced, tyres changed, you can actually put the whole of that invoice through your business and reclaim the VAT on it, as long as the invoice has your business name on. One of the other key areas you can reclaim VAT is the fuel. So if you're buying fuel for your business journeys, then the VAT you're paying on that fuel is reclaimable. But sometimes if you're using a mileage rate and you're not actually just putting the fuel costs through the business, what you can do is you can work out what proportion of the mileage rate relates to fuel, and you can actually just put that through your VAT return. Typically, if you're claiming if you're claiming mileage at a rate of 45p a mile, then about 2 to 3 pence of that will actually relate to fuel VAT. So you'd be able to put that through your VAT return, and then on top of that you'd be able to reclaim any VAT on your repairs and maintenance costs as well. So while it's difficult to actually reclaim VAT when you're buying a vehicle, unless it's a van, what HMRC have done is they've recognised that because they're being slightly heavy-handed on the VAT reclaim for a car, which is probably partially being used for business, they're being overly generous with other areas where you can reclaim VAT on repairs, maintenance, fuel costs. So it's well worth talking to your accountant or just having a look at your VAT returns and seeing if you're being as efficient as possible when it comes to reclaiming costs on that. If you want to find out a bit more information about this, then please get in touch and I'd be happy to help.